and welcome back to the Something in the Wild podcast. I'm Tyler Smith, as always, and today I'm going to be working through the essential gear that you need to stay warm this winter. I know the weather's getting cold and people are spending more time inside, but that does not have to be the case. You guys can go out and enjoy the outdoors, enjoy the cold weather, and be comfortable doing it. And I'm going to work through my gear essentials for my clothing whenever I'm going outside in the cold, in the snow. But before I get into that, I have a couple announcements to make. You might notice that I have a new hoodie on and a new hat. So you can see right here, we have new Something in the Wild merchandise. So you can see the Something in the Wild patch right here. This is the Wild Frontier rope hat, and this is the Something in the Wild podcast hoodie. If you take a look at the back, it's got Something in the Wild podcast on it. Came out pretty nice, so might make a few modifications, but if you guys want to order one, it's on somethinginthewild.com. Make sure you go check it out. Now, without further ado, let's get right into it. And this is all of the stuff that I would bring on any cold weather adventure that I would ever go on. This is the only stuff that I would bring clothing-wise, maybe an extra jacket, maybe an extra set of pants. But other than that, this is my core base layering system. Now, the first thing that I want to talk about today is my sock choice. Now, I have these really thick merino wool socks that I use underneath my insulated boots, and it's pretty crucial to have some sort of wicking sock because whenever you're moving around, your feet are going to be sweating, they're going to be hot. So having something that wicks away that moisture, and whenever you're sitting down, it's not going to keep your feet soaking wet. That's pretty crucial. So I typically go with merino wool, but if you're just going to be moving around all the time, the sock isn't really too big of a deal. Your feet are usually going to stay somewhat warm as long as you have, an insulated boot or some really thick socks. So that's my first item. Next thing I want to talk about is my whole layering system for my lower body. Starting out first with my base layer. So these are merino wool 3/4 long johns. They're thick. They're very, very comfortable. And I really like wearing these just as a base layer because it keeps that warmth in. Also a wicking layer so that whenever you may start sweating or what have you, it's going to wick away that moisture. It's not going to keep you wet. And whenever you're wet, you're cold, whenever the weather is cold outside. So making sure to stay dry, that is absolutely crucial. And that's why the base layer is so important. Moving on from the base layer, we have just regular pants. So these pants are very, very nice. I really like them. I would recommend that if you were to go out and get a pair of pants for winter type adventures, get something that's thick that is not going to rub away on, say, like briars or brush. You could even go with jeans if you really want to. Just something that is going to add another layer of insulation and protection. Now moving on to your actual insulation piece. I have these pants. They're puffy pants, and I'm telling you right now, these things you might not think you need, but you need them. They're a game changer whenever it comes to cold weather. They keep you so hot and so warm whenever you're just sitting there not moving around. If you're moving around, it's going to be a little bit hotter. You're going to start to sweat a little bit more, so it's always nice to have a pair that you can take on and off whenever you want to. These ones are zip up, so it makes a lot of sense whenever you're out there moving around. You can zip them off, zip them back on whenever you're not moving. Really nice, crucial piece of gear. I would say if you're going to get anything to upgrade your equipment, get some puffy pants. They are like game changers. Lastly, for your lower body, I have a pair of waterproof pants, and these are really crucial whenever there is snow on the ground or any sort of moisture on the leaves or what have you. Whenever you're walking through the woods, you don't want to get your puffy pants wet because whenever they're wet, they're not going to keep you warm. But if you have a waterproof outer layer that is also going to protect those puffy pants from any sort of snags or briars or anything like that, you need them. You need them to keep yourself warm, keep yourself protected, and keep yourself dry. All right, so that was my lower body system. Now I'm going to move on to the upper body system. Very, very similar to the lower body system, just a couple tweaks. So first thing first is the base layer. I just use a long sleeve merino base layer. You can find these base layers that I'm talking about right here on Amazon for 20, 30 bucks maybe. You can get some pretty cheap merino base layers, but if you're not willing to spend or you don't want to spend that sort of money on merino wool, you could just get regular wool. The only problem with regular wool is that it wicks moisture a little bit quicker and it holds on to moisture a little bit more. So just be cognizant of that. But like I said, you can mix and match this gear and you can kind of figure out what works best for you. This is what works best for me, might be different for yourself. Moving on to the upper body jacket, I just use a fleece jacket right here. I would also switch this out with, say, like a hoodie or just kind of like a thick long sleeve, something with a hood, something that's going to keep your body warmth in and something that you can wear moving around whenever you're outside and you're not going to get too cold just wearing that. For example, if I had my wicking base layer on and this jacket, I'd be pretty warm down to like 20, 30 degrees if I'm moving around. Whenever I'm sitting down, that's obviously a completely different story, but whenever you're moving around, you want these active insulation pieces to be able to keep you warm in those colder temperatures. Next is my insulation layer for the upper body. Now I just have a puffy jacket. It does absolute wonders. It has this like reflective material on the inside. I don't know what that does exactly, but I have had zero problems with this jacket. I actually get way too hot wearing this jacket if I'm moving around at all. If I have my base layer, my fleece hoodie layer on, and then I put this on and I start moving around, I immediately start sweating. I immediately get too hot and I have to shed some layers. So this will keep you very, very warm. It adds that little barrier of air around your hoodie piece, and it just adds so much more warmth, more than you would even expect. So always crucial to have that puffy layer. These ones are the ones that add the most amount of heat. And last but not least, we're going to talk about the waterproof outer layer. Now this works more than just a waterproof outer layer. This is your wind stopper. This is what's going to keep you dry in the snow, and it does a whole lot more than that, keeps a lot more warmth in than you would even expect. So I do have a couple jackets that I wear from time to time that say that they're windproof, but whenever the wind is blowing, I'm still getting cold from the wind. So whenever that happens, I always will throw on my rain jacket because these are 100% windproof because they're waterproof. So how's air going to get through them, right? These are awesome. These are really, really nice. And I would definitely recommend throwing these on over top of your puffy layers whenever it's getting even colder, down into those single digits, negative temperatures. Makes sense to throw on a waterproof layer on your upper body as well as your lower body. Keep yourself dry, keep yourself warm. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you pick something up. I hope you get outside. I hope you enjoy the cold weather that winter has to offer. Really appreciate you tuning in. Looking forward to bringing more videos just like this to you guys. Make sure everyone